Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Kalesha and I am a registered dental hygienist, and in today's video I'll be sharing 4 things you can do to be considered an above average hygienist and earn more respect and or benefits in your career. If you're in dental hygiene school or a recent graduate, the earlier you begin these things, the better off you will be during your career. You won't have to beg for respect or a raise, neither will you have trouble fitting in at any office. You will come highly recommended by office staff, doctors, and patients. Contrary to what many may believe, there aren't very many ways to climb the ladder as a dental hygienist. Well, a clinical hygienist. Of course, there are other avenues you can take in this career field where you have higher up positions and could potentially make more money. But unless you want to become a dentist, there's only so much you can do and make as a clinical hygienist. And I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in being a dentist, and neither am I interested in being a hygienist forever, but that's neither here nor there. Nevertheless, I do want to be the very best hygienist I can be in the meantime. And because you clicked this video, I assume you too want to be well respected in your current position. So listen up if you're ready to be above average. First thing you want to do to be considered an above average hygienist is to hit your office production goals. No, I do not believe your value depends on the amount of money you make, but your employer does. And can you blame them? That is how a business works. The more patients coming in, the more money you're generating, the doors can stay open and the more they can pay out to their employees. You get it? You know, of course you gotta be making money. That's just how business operates. So no, I don't believe that your value depends on the amount of money you're bringing in, but your employer does, okay? Okay, now that we got that clear. Every office, especially if you work in corporate dentistry, every office has a production goal. Corporate dentistry is all about quantity, okay? Quantity over quality, baby. They want to see what you bringing in. Your name is probably a dollar sign. Like, your name not even on the little employee book. It's just the amount of money you make. Like, I really believe that. They just, oh, employee number 101, 500,000 a year. You know, like, they just want to know what you bringing in, sis. So every office has production goals. Even if you're at a private practice, I'm sure they have some kind of idea as to what they want you to be bringing in so that they know what to pay you hourly or by commission. And for those of you who don't know what a production goal is, it is just the dollar amount of money that your employer or boss expects you to produce. And they'll either give you this goal based on a daily, a weekly, or a monthly basis. For me personally, we have daily goals, which are more easily, accessible and attainable. I feel like if they give you a huge number for the month, you don't really know where you need to fall daily unless you just divide it by the number of days you work. I guess you can do that. But I like just having a daily goal to try to hit so that I can just hit that goal and it keeps it plain and simple for me. So just as you set goals for yourself, meeting and surpassing this goal that is set for you is as equally important. Your pay, respect, and employment depends on it. If you need some tips on how to make more money as a dental hygienist, I'll link some videos down below, but specifically if you want to make more money working less hours, I posted a video all about that 2 weeks ago, so be sure to hit this card and check it out. The second way to be considered an above average hygienist is to learn different roles. You do not want to be that hygienist that only knows how to be a hygienist. That is mediocre. And because we want to be above average, and we are above average because you already got to see yourself that way before you become that, okay? We need to know how to verify insurance, check patients out, schedule recare appointments, collect payment after procedures are done, and whatever else your office needs. This is being a team player, and there is no I in team. The more you can do, the more valuable you will be at your practice. In the event someone is busy or overwhelmed and you take the load off of their plate for a while and do a little task that they're usually employed to do, and you do it, like, they'll thank you later and likely return the favor. That's just how it works as a team. Like, I love being a part of the practice I'm a part of, because we have no problem stepping in and doing things that we aren't even asked to do. And of course, sometimes, you know, one of the two of us get a little lazy and we have to be like, look sis, you can kind of step it up here, you can help out here. But that's just how a team works. Teamwork makes the dream work, okay? The third way to be an above average hygienist is to be knowledgeable about dental procedures, specifically out of your scope of practice. In certain states, as a hygienist, we are not allowed to make certain diagnoses. However, it does not mean we should not know how. Being able to answer your patient's questions in the absence of a doctor shows you are well-rounded and educated. Some patients, especially the ones you've built a relationship with, will value your opinion just as much or even more than the dentist in some cases. To protect yourself, just always say, I think or I believe, and always follow up with, the doctor will confirm or deny this. That way, if you go ahead and say, oh, you got a cavity on this tooth, that tooth, this tooth is gonna need to be extracted, and then the doctor comes behind you and says, oh, we can root canal and crown it, you know, like, don't get ahead of yourself. You can know what you're talking about without saying exactly what you think. For an example, if there's a tooth that has a very large cavity and you're not really sure if it can be salvaged, even if they ask you, like, can this tooth be saved? You know what, I'm looking at the x-ray and it definitely has a large cavity in it. We're gonna let the doctor determine whether he or she can save it or not. Is this tooth causing you any pain? Like, direct it toward more investigative questions, and then you can present every option in the event the doctor gives a definite, you know, diagnosis. So there's still ways around it where you can still sound knowledgeable without making the diagnosis and being penalized for it later. But if your knowledge does not go past preventative, your oral hygiene instruction and care, and it doesn't move into restorative and even surgical, like, your patient can really lose trust in you, and you don't want to be the hygienist. You want to know preventative, you want to know restorative procedures, and you want to know a little bit about specialties and surgery and stuff as well. So be sure to never stop learning as a hygienist. Read those magazines that you get in the mail, that your office gets in the mail. Like, know the new technology that's out there and familiarize yourself with even the holistic part of medicine, because I'm getting a lot of patients now that don't want to use fluoride, but they still want something that keeps their teeth nice and healthy. So I have to recommend probiotics or something like that. So be knowledgeable in all areas, even outside of your scope of practice. And speaking of patients, another way to be an above average hygienist is to build rapport with your patients. Now, this may be the most important one, but how do you do this? You do this by familiarizing yourself with not only the patient's oral health, but some of their personal business, okay? Ask questions during the appointment. Don't just be talking about what they can do better or what they haven't done since the last visit. Ask them about their kids. Ask them about the trips they've taken or the things they like to do. Share some of your life with them and find out if you all share some things in common. And because you see so many patients in a day, in a week, in a month's time, you want to make little notes in their chart so that you can remember the things they told you and you can bring it up at the next visit. I promise every time they're always like, you remember that? And I'm like, yeah, girl, or yeah, man, you know, and I ain't remember nothing if I had that note, you know, but they ain't got to know that. We're building rapport. Building this relationship with patients builds trust, and it makes being a hygienist fun. That way your appointments aren't just work. It's kind of like you're catching up with an old friend that you haven't seen in 3 to 6 months. You want to have such a good relationship with your patients that they are willing to follow you wherever you go. I got patients all the time like, you ain't leaving no time soon, are you? You need to tell me where you going if you go somewhere, you know, and things like that. Like, you want that type of relationship. You want those patients to go out and send new patients in. Like I said earlier, patients keep the office flowing. If you get a lot of new patients in that ask for you specifically, that is a good look, and it will definitely make you feel proud and good to be a hygienist. And of course, it's more money in your pocket, so win-win-win across the board. So that concludes the 4 ways to be considered an above average hygienist. Now, there are other avenues you can take to further your career in dentistry, and if you're interested in hearing about some of those, be sure to leave me a comment down below and I'll be happy to share those with you. But please remember, no matter where you come from or where you want to go, where you are right now matters. You have to make the most of here to get there. Take all the skills you have and build on those and work very hard to be the very best version of yourself that you can be. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you all found this information helpful. If so, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell next to it, and I'll see you next week. Bye, Hygienists.